In this short video, we're going to talk about integrating paraphrases. This is a continuation of what we discussed in class today. So before we get into the actual integrating of paraphrases, I want to go over the steps that we took before we do this. So the first step is to write the thesis statement or answer the writing prompt. Then write the topic sentences for your 2 body paragraphs. Choose a sentence or 2 from a reading or a couple of the readings. These sentences should clearly support the idea in your topic sentences. In the last part, number 4, we didn't get to this in class, and this is where we left off. You need to paraphrase the sentences that you've chosen. You have to make sure you do this so that you don't end up plagiarizing in your essay. So just as a review, the writing prompt was, what factors have the greatest influence on the consumer behavior of millennials? And one of the thesis statements that we came up with was the 2 factors that have the most impact on the consumer behavior of millennials are new media and peer influence. So in our body paragraphs, we'll be talking about in body paragraph 1, we'll be talking about new media, and in body paragraph 2, we'll be talking about peer influence. Then we want to write our topic sentences. Here, I'm just focusing on the first body paragraph's topic sentence because that's the paragraph we'll be doing the paraphrase integration in. So our topic sentence is, one factor that influences the consumer behavior of millennials is new media. So we choose a sentence from the readings, and I went to 2 new findings about the millennial consumer by Dan Schaubel, and I chose this quote right here, which many of you also chose. Moreover, they want to engage with brands on social networks. 62% of millennials say that if a brand engages them on social networks, they are more likely to become a loyal customer. They expect brands to not only be on social networks, but to engage them. So that's the original sentence, and this is the paraphrase. Over 60% of millennials are loyal to a brand if the brand not only has a presence on social media, but more importantly, engages with them. So it's a little bit shorter, but we have the idea from the original into the paraphrase. Okay, so the first part of integrating a paraphrase into your writing or your paragraph is understanding what a paraphrase sandwich is. A paraphrase sandwich helps us to smoothly get the paraphrase into the paragraph. A lot of times a person will write the paragraph and then just throw in a paraphrase, not explain it, and the reader has no idea what the connection between the paraphrase and the paragraph is. So that's why we do a paraphrase sandwich. And the paraphrase sandwich consists of 3 steps. First step is to introduce the paraphrase with the article title and the author's name. You already know how to do that. And then the second thing is to write your paraphrase. And the third thing is explain how your paraphrase connects to the topic sentence of the paragraph. So this is what a paraphrase sandwich looks like using the paraphrase that we just saw earlier. According to the article, 10 New Findings About the Millennial Consumer, author Dan Schaubel states that over 60% of millennials are loyal to a brand if the brand not only has a presence on social media, but more importantly, engages with them. In other words, the consumer behavior of young consumers is clearly influenced if brands interact with them over various social networking platforms. So you have the introduction to this paraphrase sandwich. According to the article, 10 New Findings About the Millennial Consumer, author Dan Schaubel states, that's the introduction. Then we put in the paraphrase. And then the last part, which starts with, in other words, is the explanation of this paraphrase and how it connects to the topic sentence of this body paragraph. We can use various transition words and phrases. One of the most common ones to introduce our explanation is "in other words." So now we're going to look at a full body paragraph with the paraphrase integrated. Before we do that though, I want to show you the outline format that I used for this body paragraph. We've talked about many different outline formats, but this particular sample paragraph follows this outline. So we have the topic sentence, explanation, the topic sentence, the paraphrase, explanation of the paraphrase, the example, explanation of example, and kind of a summary or conclusion type sentence. So this is the example body paragraph 1 with integrated paraphrase. One factor that influences the consumer behavior of millennials is new media. New media is a part of everyday life for young consumers, so it's no surprise that it plays a major role in shaping their purchasing habits. Social media is one type of new media that millennial consumers are most noticeably influenced by, and corporations around the world have taken note. According to the article 10 New Findings About the Millennial Consumer, author Dan Schauble states that over 60% of millennials are loyal to a brand if the brand not only has a presence on social media, but more importantly, engages with them. In other words, the consumer behavior of young consumers is clearly influenced if brands interact with them over various social networking platforms. For example, certain brands such as McDonald's and Starbucks both engage consumers by posting daily tweets on Twitter about new products and special offers. In some cases, corporations tweet about their involvement in charitable causes which might appeal to the millennial mindset. Since many millennials are active users of Twitter and other forms of new media, their consumer behavior is likely impacted each and every time they check any number of the social media sites that they regularly use. So you can break apart this paragraph. You have the topic sentence. We have a couple of sentences explaining the topic sentence. And then we have our paraphrase sandwich, which is used to integrate the paraphrase into our paragraph. And after the explanation of the paraphrase right here, we have an example. And we have the example, one sentence, and then we follow the example with an explanation, since many millennials are active users of Twitter, and so on. So this is just one possible way that you can set up your paragraph, but the integration of the paraphrase, you should follow this format. The introduction with the article title, author's name, your paraphrase, and then follow it up with an explanation about how this paraphrase connects to your topic sentence.